This session, we'll be looking at the renal system, or you know it as the urinary system. And so we're going to see what makes up this system. Before we go deep into the urinary system, I want to keep fresh in the mind of the reflexology students the systems of the body: the integumentary, which is the skin, the skeletal system, the muscular system, the nervous system, the endocrine system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system, respiratory system, digestive system, urinary system, and reproductive system for male and female. So these are the systems that we're studying in the anatomy and physiology of the reflexology client. So brief review of the systems, and we'll also do a brief review each week so that we put the systems in our mind as well as we go into the different systems. You need to know the clients who come before you, you need to have some background information of systems of the body. So the urinary tract, that's the front view. We see the kidneys, we see the urethra, we see the bladder, we see the sphincter, and we see the urethra, which is the tube where the urine goes down into the penis or to come out from for the male. And also we see the urethra and the opening where the urine comes out in the female reproductive organs. So that's a front view of the system. And if you notice, you see arteries and veins that are attached. They keep the body functions going. The urinary tract system functions is to filter blood and create urine as a waste product. The organs of the urinary system include the kidneys, the renal pelvis, the ureters, the bladder, and the urethra. The body takes nutrients from food and converts them to energy. After the body has taken the food components that it needs, waste products are left behind in the bowel and in the blood. The kidney and urinary systems help the body to eliminate liquid waste called urea and to keep chemicals such as potassium and sodium and water in balance. The power of the urinary system. Urea is produced when foods containing protein, such as meat, poultry, and certain vegetables are broken down in the body. So persons with urinary disease, they often have a high level of urea in the bloodstream or in the urine because of the malfunction of the kidneys. Urea is carried into the bloodstream to the kidneys, where it is removed along with water and waste in the form of urine. The anatomy of the kidneys. So we see the kidneys, we see the renal pelvis, we see the calces, we see the renal artery, the renal vein, the ureter, and the cortex. So these are the anatomy, what the makeup of the human kidneys. All right. So sometimes persons have kidney stones and fine, hard, calcified material blocks the flow in the kidneys. So it's like a P-shaped organ, but very, very important to the human body to get rid of waste. Other important functions of the kidneys include blood pressure regulation and production of erythropoietin, which control the red blood cell production in the bone marrow. Kidneys also regulate the acid-base balance and conserve fluids. So we see blood pressure is not only controlled by the heart, but the kidneys help to keep the blood pressure regulated. Now we realize that the organs work together, they synchronize. We see that limited production of erythropoietin can affect the red blood cell production. So now you realize person with blood issues, they were showing signs of kidney issues, but the detail was not being done to catch the imbalance early. So when your patients come to you with these complaints, you need to be sensitive to refer them on to a urologist that deals with the urinary system. So we have two kidneys. They are like purplish brown organs located in the ribs towards the middle of the back, and their function is to remove waste products and drugs from the body, balance fluids, release hormones to regulate blood pressure. So even blood pressure is hormone related, and they control the production of red blood cells. So now you understand you need a healthy kidneys even to have a healthy red blood cell supply. We look at the bladder. We see the dome of the bladder, and we see the tube that brings the urine down. It's called the ureter. We see the right wall, the left wall of the bladder. We see the, let me go back. Okay, and then we see the urethra, where the urine comes out of the male or the female. It comes onto the urethra. The two kidneys remove urea from the blood through tiny filtering units called nephrons. Each nephron consists of a ball formed of small blood capillaries called a glomerulus, and a small tube called renal tubule. Urea, together with the water and other waste substances, forms the urine as it passes through the nephrons and down the renal tubes to the kidneys. The two ureters. These narrow tubes carry urine from the kidneys to the bladder. Muscles in the ureter walls continually tighten and relax, forcing urine downward away from the kidneys. So now you see the muscle system playing a key role, and also the nervous system, because the messages have to come to the nervous system, to the other systems of the body. If urine backs up or is allowed to stand still, a kidney infection can develop, or something that is called hydronephrosis, which is excess water in the kidneys. About every 10 to 15 seconds, small amounts of urine are emptied in the bladder from the ureters. The bladder, the triangle-shaped hollow organ, is located in the lower abdomen. It is held in place by ligaments and are attached to other organs and pelvic bone. The bladder walls relax and expand to store urine, and contract and flatten to empty urine through the urethra. The typically healthy adult bladder can store up to 2 cups of urine for 2 to 5 hours. So there are muscles there as well. 2 sphincter muscle. These secular muscles help urine from leaking by closing tightly like a rubber band around the opening of the bladder. So we see again the nervous system and the muscle system working together. The nerves in the bladder. The nerves alert a person when it is time to urinate or empty the bladder. So, wow, we are fully wired. Look at the amount of nerve supply that is in the kidneys and the pelvic region going down to the bladder. So we see this is the lumbar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We see that right along here, the nerve supply is going into the kidneys and down to the bladder. So persons who have lower back damage, it can also affect the kidneys. And as you can see, on top of the kidneys are the adrenal glands that store all different hormones to help the body function. The urethra. This tube allows urine to pass outside the body. The brain signals the bladder muscles to tighten, which squeezes urine out of the bladder. At the same time, the brain signals the sphincter muscles to relax, to let urine exit the bladder through the urethra. When all signals occur in the correct order, normal urination occurs. You see how fearfully and wonderfully we are made, and we cannot take nothing for granted. Normal, healthy urine is pale or straw, or pale straw, some call it a straw color, or transparent yellow color. Darker yellow or honey-colored yellow means you need more water. A darker brownish color may indicate a liver problem or severe dehydration. Pinkish or red urine may mean blood in the urine. So when you talk to your patients, you need to have these information so you're able to talk to them when you are doing the session. All right? Okay. I'm giving you another view of the kidneys, the bladder. In this view, you're seeing the arteries and the veins that are helping to bring blood supply and nutrients, carry nutrients and waste to and from the kidneys. Now we come to the reflexology session. So on the chart, you will look for the kidney reflex point. You look for the ureter, which is the green tubes coming down, and you'll find the bladder. So you notice that on this side, when you're doing the spine, you have to pass the bladder reflexes in the lumbar spine reflex area. So it count coming from the heel going up in the medial side of the client's feet. And we'll be walking up that area, small walk with our big finger, and we'll press into the area, asking the patient if they're having any pain. So you will see the video of the bladder reflexes. So for the kidney, you would go in and you will use your big finger right here and you'll apply pressure. So you'll walk in and you'll apply pressure in that zone of the kidney reflex. Then you would now walk down 3 times down the urethra. Patient with urinary issues, you'll feel like grains or hard areas in this area as you walk down with pressure. All right, and the same thing apply on the right foot, because you're picturing the client laying down and their right foot is on your left. And then you will go now and you will do the same thing for the left foot. You walk in, you apply pressure with your big thumb 3 times in the kidneys, and then you would also walk down the ureters 3 times, and then you come to the bladder on the outer side and you would apply pressure there as well, which is right here, right? And you get a side view of it on the chart right there. So that is the urinary system, but a simple technique can save life. I've had patients just by assessing their renal system, their urinary system. They were hospitalized in 24 hours because I didn't like what I felt. I spoke to my doctor. Medical labs were done, and they recognized that the patient had hydronephrosis and the urea content in the blood was very high. And they were able to dialyze the patient and bring that levels down. You can save a life. Remember now, reflexology works. So I pray that you will continue to listen to these videos and practice, practice, practice. Reflexology works.